Hello, church. It's Pastor Steve here with our Monday Minute for January the 10th of 2022. My first Monday Minute of this new year, and I'm glad that you're able to join us for this today. I have just a couple of announcements before I get into the devotion for today. First of all, a reminder that as we're getting back into the swing of things here after the Christmas and New Year's holiday, that we will continue our Lectio Divina class that meets on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock at the church in the Asbury Lounge, or you can also join online and participate in that as well. Our winter apparel drive is coming to a close, and we need all of your items, if you have not already turned those in, by this Wednesday, the 12th, so we can start to distribute those to the kids in the schools when they are going back. We appreciate everybody's donations that you've given so far. It's been quite a bit, and we know that a lot more is still coming in. But please make sure to get all of those items in by Wednesday. Our regular Women Connecting Through Christ group is meeting on Thursdays again, either at 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. And you can check out the information for this and a whole lot more by going to our webpage at NewburgUMC.org/events. Or you can look at our social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the like. We hope that you'll check all of those out as you stay informed as to what is happening in the life of our church. For 2022, we all make New Year's resolutions. Maybe not all of us, but a lot of us like to think we can anyway. And perhaps some of those resolutions for some folks have fallen off the wayside. This being my first Monday Minute for this coming year, I'm going to try something new here just to give a little more slice and variety to the Monday Minute, and I'm calling it Monday Minute Unscripted. Over the last while, I've been writing these things out, but we're going to take a stab at some things here in this new year and just go from some thoughts and some ideas that we have about how we're to live as Christians, and not to put that down in any sort of mini sermon, but I'm here today to talk to you and to share with you about our feelings, about what it is that's happening in our church, in the life of the church in general, and talk about some things as to where we go from here. As we start a new year and as we continue with the coronavirus that we've been struggling with since 2020, we're seeing some alarming numbers coming out with the Omicron variant. Cases are at an all-time high again when we thought we had this thing defeated only about 7 months ago. But here we are. And because we are here, I know a lot of people are feeling anxious. A lot of people are feeling concerned about what it is that we're supposed to do next. And as I've been wrestling with that myself and been hearing comments from others, the answer came to me in saying, well, what we're supposed to do next is the thing that we Christians always do. Take care of ourselves, take care of each other, and take care of the world. And the reason that we are supposed to do that is because we have that mandate from Jesus himself. When Jesus is asked, what do I have to do to inherit the kingdom of heaven? It's two things. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And those neighbors are everywhere, and our neighbors are in need right now. But in the church, a lot of times we get stuck. And as we get stuck, we tend to go through a paralysis of analysis around what we should do and what we shouldn't do. I'll confess that I've been there many times myself. I know a lot of you have as well, maybe in your own homes or your own line of work. But this passage from the Gospel of Luke in the 7th chapter talks about what is the role of John the Baptist and Jesus, and what it is that followers are supposed to do. John, in the 18th verse of chapter 7 of Luke, sends some of his disciples to Jesus himself to say, hey, are you the one who is to come, the Messiah, or are we to wait for another? So these disciples of John come to Jesus himself and ask that very question. And then Luke puts in a very curious editorial passage there in verse 21 when he says, Jesus had just then cured many people of diseases, plagues, and evil spirits, and had given sight to many who were blind. It's kind of a subtle little dig of saying the answer is already there. But then Jesus goes on to spell it out for him and says, "Go and tell John what you have seen. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, the poor have good news brought to them, and blessed is anyone who takes no offense at me." Jesus cuts right to the chase and says, you have seen all of this for yourself. Why is John, or why is anybody else asking those questions? Tangentially, I also thought to myself, why is it that John, who, as we've just read in our birth stories, is Jesus' cousin, why is not John going to Jesus himself? He's sending emissaries. But that's another rabbit hole that we can go down to. Overall, it shows the importance of not only John's preparation for ministry, but even John himself is wondering, is Jesus, is my cousin, is this person really the Messiah? Or are we to wait for another? Paralysis of analysis. The indication is that perhaps he, but definitely others, as we know through historical writings, had been fooled before, thinking that the Messiah was there, and it turned out not to be him. But if we fast forward this now here into 2022, in the 21st century, I think there's a lot that we can apply. And too often, I think, we in the church act more like John and his disciples than we do like Jesus and his disciples. We're not sure of what's happening out there. We're not sure of the situation, and so we get into that paralysis of analysis, as I have been saying, and we wait. We may think that, oh, wow, there's something to this over here, but we wait. And we in the church oftentimes miss out on opportunities to reach new people and to meet new people where they are, because we wait and we continue to stick with the things that we know and the things that keep us comfortable, as opposed to going out and taking risks. I think Jesus points it out for us right here. Healing the sick, as we're called to do now, is a risk. Giving aid to those who we might prejudge and think they don't deserve it is a risk. It's a risk for us being vulnerable, and it's a risk for others to be able to trust in an era where we've shown that oftentimes trust is not our greatest priority. And so today, as we start this new year, I hope that we can resolve to be willing to not sit and wait, both as a church, but also as a people. We, as God's people, individually and collectively, have a calling to do everything that Jesus had said. In Matthew 25, we get Jesus' famous saying that when he was hungry, you fed me. When he was naked, you gave him clothing. When he was thirsty, you gave him something to drink. When we've done it to the least of these, Jesus says, we've done it unto him. It's our job, I think, especially now, to bring healing and to bring hope into the world, and not confine ourselves to the things that have constrained us and hold us back from being everything that we are supposed to be. We are the ones who are supposed to be laying the groundwork for the future of the church now. And Jesus is telling us that the time is now, and there is no better time than the present to go about doing what is right and sharing healing and sharing hope with the world. It's my hope that in this new year, we can accomplish that and so much more together as we look to new ways to sharing that good news and that message of love in Jesus Christ. So let's set about our week by doing that. Have a great week. Remember to stay safe and healthy out there, but don't be afraid to take risks, to go out and share the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And then we'll see you back here next week for another edition of the Monday Minute Unscripted.